All right. You got the game idea. You're going to make millions. Everyone's going to flock to you and help you build this game because your idea is just, top notch. It's the next best thing. Maybe you have the hard skills to build it. Maybe you don't. But getting people to believe in your idea, join your team, and actually stick around, you're probably finding out that's the hard part. That's what this Indie Dev Leader series is about. It's a different approach, perhaps an unorthodox one, into indie game development, but it's also a framework of getting out of that idea guy phase and actually getting your game into production. I'm Jared. I'll be sharing everything I've learned within the last year building and leading an indie game team. If you like what you see, stay tuned to the channel, get active in the comments below. Let's go. It all starts here. It all starts with good work ethic. Everything is built from this. I want you to take a deep look inside yourself and be honest with yourself. Do you have good work ethic? Do you have poor work ethic? Uh, when you take on a job of any kind, are you the type of person that kind of moans and groans about it, or are you the type of person that accepts it, looks at it like it's a challenge, something to accomplish, and you look forward to it? Take a deep look at yourself and see what kind of work ethic you may think you have. Good gauge on this is from what others may have said about you and how you're doing in your current work. Do you put in the same amount of work when no one else is watching? Now, I know we all deviate from this good work ethic concept, but having a good attitude and humor in yourself, from you, setting that great example at work, it goes really, really far, and it radiates from you onto others and your team members. So, and that's the hope anyway, that it would kind of bleed over into your team members when they see you and how you work and that great work ethic that comes from you. And that in itself, you having that great work ethic as your indie dev leader, is going to help guide your members and the project along this journey, as you in the center of it. You got to get up. You got to get out of bed. You got to get to that computer and just do the work day in, day out. You got to commit to your project, to your team members. They are counting on you. The project is counting on you. You are the indie dev leader. That's what you're striving to be. And the best, simplest, one of the best, simplest, easiest things that you can do right now, without any other type of skills or what have you, is just being consistent. I know this is easier than said than done, but it's just one of those things that you can start implementing right now, and you just got to do it. Showing your presence as much as possible, and preferably on a schedule. That's what I do. Is huge. Low effort action that it really 10x's the motivation and morale of your team members when they see you on Discord or whatever you guys are using to communicate with, and they see you actively working on the project and communicating and engaging with your team members, you're on the ball, answering questions that they have, and you're not delaying, these responses that they're looking for, and you're very consistent and deliberate, and your mannerisms and your schedule that you're operating on, when you're working on the project, it's just huge. They see it, and they know they can count on you being there for them. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. Even the people with the hard sets, they don't know everything. And what you don't want to be as the indie dev leader is you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Okay. You don't want to come off that way, and you don't want to act that way. You don't want to be that. Okay. You are trying to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. This whole topic is about you being the idea guy, but somehow becoming the leader of this team, which you don't know these hard sets. You don't know 3D modeling, you don't know rigging, animations, motion root stuff and programming and all of it. This is all based on that you may may know maybe one or two of those hard sets, but you don't know anything, and you're just a guy with an idea that you would like to see become real. You're trying to surround yourself with the smarter people than you, that know their skill sets and roles. What I'm talking about being curious here is you need to be the type of person, you need to have that mind of just wanting to know and learn all that you can. And what this does within this indie dev leader situation is you're going to need and want to genuinely ask questions to your team members when you don't understand something or you don't just know anything about it. Don't feel like a dummy when you're asking questions. It's going to prove to your team members that you're interacting with and questioning and asking these questions. It's going to show engagement, that you're interested in them and what they do and how their pipeline works. And it goes a long ways with them. It really does. And just ask a lot of questions, okay? You don't know how something works, ask them, and you'll be surprised about the conversations that you end up having with your members and actually how much they know and you learn. And sometimes the questions that you ask, they've never, heard it in that from that angle or worded that way, and it actually, can spark a really great conversation. And maybe they start seeing something in a different light that they never had, and so you never know where these conversations can go. And it's just a really good thing to have a curious mind to take it even a step further. Dabble a lot in things, especially your game engine. I didn't know anything about Unity, and I've really got into Unity and like learning how to program and whatnot, just basic stuff. But it's fun and it helps when you are able to contribute kind of and know what they're talking about and kind of navigate things on your own and not always have to be handheld. Dabble a lot. Not saying that you got to spend like months and months and months on something, but you never know. You might find something that you actually enjoy with like some type of blender software, doing rigging, animating, programming. I highly recommend dabble in a lot of the software if you can without spending too much money on the software. If it costs money, Blender's free, Unity's free, those are two big ones. Unreal's free. So it shows that you're engaging, that you are wanting to learn more and see the different angles that game development brings, building a game in game development. At least do some of that bare minimum stuff. I highly recommend your game engine, whatever you're using, get familiar with it. It's going to help you in the long run and just make you a better leader overall. And then one more point, just listen, be a good listener. That means a lot to people when there's maybe they got to vent about something or they're frustrated about something, some issue that they're having, whatever it is. And if you're there for them to kind of bounce ideas off of, just kind of vent to you, that's a very good skill that kind of is underrated, that you don't really think about. Try to just be that good listener and support. Communication, it's the gateway. It's the way in which everything is going to flow through your project, through your team members, from you to your team members, from you to the public. And the communication is huge. It is going to be the bottleneck between you and everything. So your communication, whether it be vocal or in writing, it has to be, you know, on point. It has to be fluid and just consistent. And it needs to be the least resistance, meaning you need to be just on top of your game because everything, all communication of your project is going to be flowing to and from you. Obviously, it's going to be flowing between your members, but the whole structure of your setup of your business, I guess, if you want to call it that right now, or your studio, you need to structure in a manner, and I'll get into this probably in more videos to come, but your documents you write for team members, direction that you're giving, grammar, punctuation needs to be clear, precise, and intentional. Okay. Your team is going to be looking for direction from you constantly. and you are going to need to deliver on this to the best of your abilities that you can. Public interaction when looking for team members, and I'm going to get into this in later videos, but you're going to be doing a lot of searching on the public forums, or Reddit, Discord, itch.io, and all those, you're going to be writing a ton. You're going to be writing messages back and forth between potential customers and team members constantly. I have a whole list of 100 people so far on my Discord that I've conversed with one way or another related to our project or as a team member. So you're going to be very involved in this communication line of writing and interacting with other people. It's low effort. It doesn't take much effort to spell check things. Run it through AI if you have to kind of structure your sentences if you're poor at writing. But you need to have that human touch. You need to have your own personality touch on these structured sentences and paragraphs, help wanted ads that you write. People can smell out AI, lazy slop written things, and it's going to go a long ways if you properly have your own personality, human touch on your communication. Whether it be writing or vocal. It's just another thing that you can take advantage of, get better at, and do right now with really without experience needed to perform this type of skill to be an indie dev leader. One other thing for communication that I strongly believe in that you should do, especially as this indie dev leader, I feel like you're not going to be able to get away from it. Is I suggest doing team calls with your team members. I remember starting to do this with mine, and I was pretty nervous right off the bat to do it. And it was actually another team member that offered to do it. And actually, when I've been trying to find team members to join, some of them would want to do team calls. They want to know that you're actually a real person. They want to get a read on you. They want to actually see if you're a serious person or if you're just super ambitious today, and then you're just going to fall off the wagon the next. So I feel like it's very important and a good practice to get a camera, get in front of it, and get ready to um, start talking to people, let them see you. And, maybe you don't have to use a camera right off the bat, but at least that they can hear your voice and know that you're actually a real person that they're communicating with. It goes a long ways, and it shows a lot of respect, right? I don't know if respect's the right word. I don't know, promise or an attitude that you are actually taking this serious. So persuasion comes with all of this. You're going to naturally get better at that, but that is actually what you're trying to do. You're trying to persuade people to join you. And a good way to do that is to sound professional and be a serious person about this. And you can still have a good sense of humor and joke about things when the time feels right and whatnot. But you're trying to come across as a serious person and that you want to see this project through and you're dedicated to it. So persuasion is going to play a big part in mainly everything that you're doing. And I don't mean for that to sound kind of nefarious or anything that you're trying to like trick people and persuade people to come to your side and they can't do anything else but help you. That's not what I'm saying. It's just you got to be able to win people over. It's a competition, really. When you look at it, you are searching for talent and trying to bring them to your project. And those types of people, they're looking to join a project and they're going to choose what looks the most promising to them and what looks fun. Also, so persuasion will be a huge thing, and it should kind of naturally come as you practice the skill of communication, writing, vocal, and all of that. And just, I guess, be aware of that's actually what you're trying to do is persuade, and it's really a competition to win these people over. Okay, then last one here. We've all heard it. Game development is not a sprint; it's a marathon, right? And it's true. It is very true. And you got to just accept it. Okay. This is not going to happen overnight. And the sooner you accept that, um, the sooner it becomes more fun. Honestly, becomes way more enjoyable when you're not just feeling rushed all the time and you got to get something done and out of out the door, and when you hit a wall, it's just like, "Oh, shit," like, you gotta just accept it. It's a freaking roller coaster, and I've only been doing this from about a year, right? And actually, I'll go back into my, past with trying game development. This is really, not to get off topic, this is like the real first push, honest to God, real hard, everyday push, getting into game development. I'll get into that another day, but it's just an up and down roller coaster, and we all know that. You guys know that. Maybe you don't. I don't know, but you're gonna have to be resilient and embrace the changes, embrace all the ups and downs, and the side to side emotions and everything. So it's a lot. I get it. Everything in life, there's a million other things happening in life that cause your up and down emotions, and game development is no different, obviously. So resilience is your last line of defense against your project failing, honestly, really. So you got to add, plus 100 to your resilient stats, and don't be deterred on by the onslaught of emotions involved, and just block out the noise, accept the hardships, and actually just try to enjoy the ride here. I am finding it very enjoyable and very rewarding. I think it's super fun interacting and building something with a team here. It's been really, really enjoyable, and I can't wait, to keep going. And a good saying I heard when I was younger was that I've always kind of kept with me. It's probably a very common saying that maybe a lot of you have heard, but there is no lose or win. There's only learning and winning. Um, and I think that's a really great quote to always kind of repeat to yourself and remind yourself of when you're coming across hardships in game development or even in life in general. So I'll just leave it at that and catch you on the next one.